All right. So now we got a little special guest. Some of y'all might know him as Donkey Doug. And yeah, it's definitely cool seeing him do his thing out there and, definitely be on a big show. But if you guys aren't familiar with his character, we'll play a little clip real quick and then we'll do a little intro on him. Check it out.
Oh, damn, Jason! Donkey Doug!
You call him Donkey Doug in person?
Me and Jason are cool like that. I don't think of him as my son. I think of him as my boy!
I mean, I am your boy.
Yeah, but it's more like, that's my son right there, son. But not like, son, but like, my boy, but not like...
Yes, we get it. Thank you.
Oh, this is my friend, Michael.
Oh, crap. You look like a cop. Are you a cop? Because if you are, you have to tell me. And you're not allowed to arrest me for anything you saw before I knew you were a cop.
I'm not a police officer.
Yeah, Michael's cool. And this is Dahani, who is my wife, I guess.
Dang, nice pool, son. How about you and me go check out my jacuzzi and put stuff in each other?
Again, I'm his wife.
Wow, that's the first time that line has ever failed. You must really love him. Welcome to the family. Come on in.
Awesome. Yeah, if you guys, that show is already done, but if you want to check it out, it's called The Good Place. It was on NBC. I believe it was 4 seasons, and definitely there's quite a few episodes with Donkey Doug in it, and we'll actually talk about that a little later on in his story. But let's first do a little intro. So, welcome everyone, Mitch Narito. Oh, he's muted. Unmute yourself, sir. There you go.
Is that better? How's it going, everyone?
What's up? Hey, man. So, yeah, before we get into Good Place, what I like to do, and we've talked about this, is I like going way back, right? Going back to the beginning, because I feel like where you're born, where you're raised, your upbringing obviously makes you the person you are today. And obviously leads to how your success and all that stuff. So definitely let's start that off. Where were you born and where?
So I was born and raised out here in Los Angeles. I was born at UCLA Med Center out in Westwood. Yeah, that's me. That's a little. My family. My mom and dad came over from the Philippines to the East Coast first, and then from the East Coast, they came down to LA, where they settled in Eagle Rock, California. So I spent the first few years of my life out there. I think that's my first birthday right there, or third birthday. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I grew up in Eagle Rock, like Glass Hill Park area, for a couple of years. Went to school out there. And then moved around a little bit. Went to Pacoima, then to Chino, and then now I'm in Pasadena.
Cool. Wait, let's backtrack a little bit. You jumped really quickly. So
Sorry.
yeah. So you were in Chino actually for quite a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's basically kind of where you spent your high school years and all that stuff.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But I would still commute to LA. Like I had all my friends out there. I was fortunate enough that my parents didn't want to like change schools. So I got to grow up with a lot of my friends that I still keep in touch with today.
Yeah. So how was Chino during that time in the 90s? Mid 90s.
It was full of a lot of white people. Like it was mostly white and Mexican. Like I think we were the only Asian family on the block.
Mm-hmm.
And it was weird because like I would commute to LA and there's so much diversity in LA, but then I drive out to Chino and then it's kind of like it was very, I don't know, it wasn't lonely, but it was very like it was very isolated. I would say. Like I had friends and family out there, but like I spent most of my time in LA and that's where I got all my social interaction in.
Yeah. Cool. And what activities did you partake in? I think you did like martial arts and
Yeah,
piano.
like in high school. Well, in grade school, I started with piano. I did like the whole Filipino recital thing. Like my parents found this one lady. She was she. That's an awesome picture. She was a lounge singer out in the Philippines, and then she made her way out down here, and she was like a showgirl and stuff out here. Um, and she pretty much taught us how to perform. I guess that would be like some of the first times I performed in front of people. And I used to, it got to the point where I started to hate it because like I wasn't like comfortable with a ton of people staring at me, like,
Interesting.
yeah, it's weird how it turned out. And then, yeah, I did martial arts for a very long time. I took all sorts of things. I started with Taekwondo. And then that kind of went into other things like karate, kung fu. I took Filipino martial arts like arnis and stuff like that. So,
Nice. Who'd you take the arnis with?
he was actually one of Danny Nos Santos' students.
Okay.
It was so long ago I can't remember his name now, but I used to take it out in West Covina.
Okay.
He lived across the street from my cousins. And I remember one day I saw him, like he was with his kids and they were just practicing in the front yard. And I was like, what is that? Like, what is that? He's like, oh, this is Filipino martial art. And then I was like, would you teach me? So like he was pretty cool. Like I would go over to his house like twice a week and then he'd show me like the basics and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. So did you continue, how long did you do that as well as Taekwondo?
I did martial arts starting freshman year of high school
Okay.
up until senior year of college. And I ended up doing like Krav Maga for like 4 years in college. Like I pretty much picked up martial arts because like when I was a little kid, I don't know if you could tell, but I was kind of scrawny and nerdy and like people would hassle me. So I had to learn how to take care of myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so let's actually talk a little bit more about your family too. So I believe your grandma and your grandpa lived with you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, I guess before I was born, like my dad's parents were living with us as well. But they passed away before I was born. So there was like a ton of people in one house. My dad was kind of like the first out of all the family in the Philippines to come to the U.S. And so he was responsible for bringing over a lot of the other family. Like he knew how to do it. Like he knew the process. So he actually gave a lot of people their starts out here in the U.S. He passed away this year recently. And I didn't realize how many people he actually helped out until like we had his funeral. And then all these people from all over the place just came out and they're like, yeah, your dad, if it wasn't for your dad, I wouldn't have a life out here in the U.S.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. So you totally didn't know about that, huh? You knew he was helping people. You just didn't know the amount of people.
Yeah, I didn't know the extent because like growing up, like there was always someone other than like my mom, my dad, and my brother in the house. Like we'd always have cousins. We'd always have aunts and uncles stay with us for a couple months.
Yeah.
It was a normal thing, like for them, it was kind of like, yeah, like why waste money on rent or whatever? You could stay with us for a little bit, just like pitch in around the house, watch the kid, whatever, like,
Yeah.
and it was cool because there was all sorts of people that came in, like most of my family comes from a medical background, but the people that came in, like it was a little more varied. There was like architects, there was artists, there was stuff like that came through the house. And like they all shared like a little bit of their lives with us. So it's kind of cool.
Were there other kids your age, or were they all older, like uncles and aunties, basically?
No, it was all older people.
Yeah.
I was kind of like one of those weird kids that was born. Like I wasn't planned. My brother's 14 years older than I am. So all my relatives, like all my cousins and stuff, they're either really old or really young. In my generation, I have probably one cousin that's my age.
Yeah.
So like that was kind of interesting growing up. I had to like navigate. Like I always got along better with like the younger crowd.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it made me comfortable around older people. Like so.
Were there any like those situations where you had a cousin, not a cousin, what is it? Like someone who's older than you who has to call you uncle? One of those
Oh yeah,
situations.
yeah, dude. There's a ton of those. Like, because my dad's family, he's one of 8.
Oh wow, okay.
And he's not the old. He wasn't the oldest. He was like number 2 or 3
Yeah.
in the lineup. But because he's like that's how it works. It's like the hierarchy, like in Philippines. So
Yeah.
I'd have all these people that are older than me, and they'd call me like uncle. And I'd be like, look, that's weird, like they're calling me kuya and stuff, and I'm just like, dude, I don't get that,
Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh, crazy. Okay. Well, yeah. So actually, because I remember there's an instance you were talking about your grandpa and how you guys used to watch movies together, and that might have been kind of like your start with your growth of love for movies and TV, right?
Yeah, like I don't know what it is. Like I think it was that generation of Filipinos, um like they completely like bought into like American culture. Like so my grandpa was like a big fan of like all of like the American action heroes, like Chuck Norris, Charles Bronson, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, all those guys. Like
Yep.
um my grandpa would like always put on those movies, and like when I was little I didn't realize how violent they were, because I like stuff like RoboCop I didn't watch until like later on again, and I was like, dang, this movie is intense. Like I remember watching this when I was a little kid, and this dude gets blown up by guns, like but he also introduced me to like Bruce Lee. Like he was the first person to ever show me a Bruce Lee movie. Enter the Dragon, that was a real cool one.
Nice.
And then like all the TV shows that were on too. Like I don't know if you remember, like we would watch like the A-Team.
Yep.
The what else? There was like a show back in the day called Sledgehammer.
Don't know that one.
It was like a cop. It was like a procedural, but like there was like that. Watched like the old school like Magnum PI and stuff like that. Like my grandpa ate all that stuff up, and it kind of like transferred over to me.
Yeah. Was it because he was watching you a lot of the time, or you're just hanging out with him?
I was just hanging out with him. Both of my parents worked full-time jobs, so it was like when I was younger, like while my parents were at work, I was always with my grandparents, and my grandparents were the ones that kind of like they kind of just like plop me in front of the TV sometimes, like let the TV raise me a little bit, but like they still did all the stuff. Like they took me out. We went to explore the city and stuff, and my grandpa was like a really great gardener because that was his job. He used to be like a gardener for a hospital in the Central Valley, like out near Victorville and stuff. And the guy had a green thumb. He could make anything grow. Like I remember the house we had in Eagle Rock, there was like we had terraces in the back, and in each row there was all sorts of stuff. Like we never bought vegetables. He grew everything.
Dang.
So, and then he'd also hunt squirrels in the back too.
What would he do with the squirrels?
Dude, like he'd give them to my grandma to cook up.
Are you serious?
No, I'm serious. Like my grandma, because like I don't know, like in my family, like they're like because both of my parents, their families are from like the jungles of the Philippines, so it's kind of like whatever they like shoot or kill, like let's see what that tastes like, like.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So cool. But okay, so then let's see. So I think we're around high school. So what were you doing in high school? You're still doing those activities, right? You said you're doing martial arts. Anything else you were doing?
In high school, it was kind of just that's when I first got introduced to DJing. Like my friends were the DJs. I was actually the roadie. But like they were my social interaction, like hanging out with my friends. Like they DJ parties and stuff, and then they're the ones that like would do like They did a couple high school dances for some of the neighboring schools and stuff like that. You know, and it's like for the most part, like I kept a lot of. It was a lot of like video games and reading because like you know, like in Chino, like I said, like there wasn't a lot of people I could hang out with, so I did a lot of like I loved comic books. I grew up reading comic books, so there was a lot of that. You know, just like stuff to you know kind of keep my imagination going and
Yeah.
keep me from getting bored and stuff.
Yeah. Cool. And then, so yeah, after high school, you go on to college. Where'd you go to? Where'd you go to college?
I went to UC Riverside. I started. I wasn't gonna go to college initially because in high school I started doing extra work for film and television,
Oh.
and I was kind of like, I don't think I need a formal education to do this stuff, you know, like. But my parents, being you know typical Filipinos, are like, no, you got to go to school, like get some sort of degree, get that piece of paper that'll help you get a job later. So I went in as a biochem major. I started as biochem. I did that for about two and a half years, and then I realized like I didn't have any passion for it. Like I hated going to class. Like I would think about my future, you know, like okay, after I finish this, what would I have to do? And I didn't want to go to grad school. Like if I had become a doctor, I didn't want to go through, you know, like getting matched and working a residency and stuff like that. Like I was like, I can do this. And this was around when like the housing market kind of crashed.
Yeah.
So like stuff started to like get really bad financially for a lot of people. And I was kind of like, do I want to stay in school? Because like if I stay in school, by the time I'm out, like in my mid 30s or whatever, I'm gonna be like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. And I was like, I rather do something else. And then so I went undeclared. I started exploring other things, seeing like if there was anything that was a good fit. I took an intro to acting class, and the instructor was kind of just like, hey, we got a play on campus. Why don't you guys go audition? You guys got nothing to lose. If they don't pick you, they don't pick you. But, you know, like see what it has to offer, you know, like, and I ended up booking. That's the cast photo right there of the first play I did. And I ended up getting a small role in it.
What was the name of it?
It was called The Visit. I played. There wasn't a lot of diversity at Riverside, like in terms of the theater department. Like UCR was one of the most diverse schools around, but in the theater department, it was like me and one other Asian guy, and then like, you know, so like my character ended up being Pedro. He was like a Latin lover type of guy. So, but yeah, after that, like getting to know the people, getting to know the program, I kind of fell in love with it. I started taking more theater classes, and you know, like I started feeling, you know, like motivation to actually go to school and like you know do things. And so I was like, you know, like I think this is where I should be. You know, like that's where I felt like I needed to be.
And so you at that point, did you change to drama, or what was the major over there for acting?
It was theater arts.
Theater arts.
So,
and did you
I
tell your
remember
parents?
I didn't tell them for a while. Like I was kind of scared for a little bit because you know, like I knew how they would react. But in my head, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give myself no other option. I got to make this work. It's sink or swim type of deal. And then somewhere along my junior year of college, I remember I was in the car with my parents, and then I told them, I was like, hey, Mom, Dad, I switched my major to theater. I'm going to be an actor. This is what I want to pursue. And my mom's reaction, she was just like, you better not, you know, like.
Sampaling kita.
Yeah, no, that was pretty much, it was just like, you're like I got the whole, you're wasting our money. Like you're gonna go and do this. Like, why are we even sending you to school? And then that's when we had the discussion. I was like, I wasn't even gonna go to school. You wanted me to, you wanted me to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. This is what I want to do. And I'll figure it out, And they're like, all right, whatever, like they gave me flack about it for years. Um, like luckily out of college, I found a job as an ESL instructor. Um, so I'm a teacher basically. And after I got that job, they're like, all right, well, at least he can do that if anything, so.
Yeah. Cool. Wait, there was something you were gonna say before I cut you off about you switching majors, I think. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, well it's just like like college is that time to like try to figure stuff out, like yeah, like I bounced around from like I was undeclared, but I bounced around like all the humanities. Like I looked at psychology, I looked at journalism, stuff like that, um, and nothing really seemed to fit. But then like
Mm.
when it came to theater, I was like, this makes sense. Like
Uh-huh.
this feels right. Like I might not be great at it right now, but this is why I'm in school. This is why I got to learn. So.
What called you to that? Because I know when you were saying too, you were you were like so about performing, like doing your recitals, your piano recitals and all that. What attracted you to it, you think?
It's kind of like a philosophy I've carried for myself. I tend to go where I'm celebrated, not where I'm just tolerated. Um, like when I was doing like the biochem, like I tolerated it, and like people tolerated me being like that. They're like, that's fine, whatever. They don't care either way. Um, but like theater and acting, I felt like I could be myself. Like I got to express myself in the way I wanted, and I was able to just like I didn't have to worry about what others' preconceptions of me were. Like I could just be myself, and they could take it or leave it. And most of the time, they're like, "Oh, that's great," like you're a delight, like so, um, like it just was. It was like more positive reinforcement for me, and that really helped.
Mm. Cool. So then, yeah, so you changed your major and then you graduated.
Yeah.
And what was life like that after college?
So like I had actually graduated like a couple semesters early because I'd
Mm.
taken so many units during summer because it was a financial thing. I was just like, I just don't want my parents to pay more than they have to.
Yeah.
So after I graduated, technically I had to wait for the ceremony. So that was a lot of me spending a lot of time with my other friends, like at other colleges. Like I practically like for winter and spring of my senior year, I practically lived at UC Irvine, and I would just
Oh.
hang out with my friends. Like I wouldn't be doing anything. Like I'd probably like be partying and stuff. Like, but um, after I actually graduated, I moved back in with my parents for a little bit. Was trying to figure out the job situation, um, and then I got into the teaching, and that was based out in LA. So after a couple months, I was like, I got to be closer to LA because like I was still on like a substitute status. So like I was in Chino, and like they would give me a call around like 5, and be like, hey, can you
AM?
sub the class? Yeah, or in the evenings usually because I
Okay,
would
okay.
teach high school.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Okay, okay.
yeah. But like they'd call me around 5, and they'd be like, hey, can you get to school? Like there's a class at 6, like,
Yeah.
and it's like a 45-minute drive. So I would
Yeah.
have to like drop everything and leave. And that just wasn't, it wasn't practical. So I told my parents, like I gotta move closer to LA. And then I moved in with a couple of my friends in Eagle Rock. Lived with them for a good number of years.
Mhm.
Um, and then all the while still trying to learn how to
I think that was the
actually,
time I met you then, right? I think
yeah,
that was the time you were
yeah,
already at the time.
early 2000s.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, like yeah, when I moved down to LA, I was trying to figure out all the acting stuff because that's the one thing like that was kind of like it was kind of like a wake up call after college. Like college kind of taught me like the aspects of the I guess you would call it the craft. Like like the general parts,
Mhm.
but no one had ever told me like the business side of it, like this is how you get your headshots, or this is how they should look, this is how you get a manager, this is how you get an agent, like all of that stuff. No one told me any of that, so I was kind of like feeling it out for a long time.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I was trying to do all this on my own, and um, like stuff is better now, but back in the day, it was kind of like my real last name is Hernandez, so I started off as Mitchell Hernandez, and agents would pick me up, and then I'd get sent out. Like people just didn't know what to do with me because they just see the last name, and they'd be like, "This guy doesn't look Latino," like they didn't understand
Mhm.
that there are Filipinos out there that have Spanish last names.
Yeah.
So I would get sent out for like Spanish speaking roles and stuff like that, and um, like it was really hard. Like I remember like when I first moved out to LA, I was trying to get in with like the Asian American acting scene, I guess. Um, and back then it was really tough for me. Like like for me it was a lot more exclusive than inclusive. Like
Mhm.
um, it was easier if you were one of the big three Asians, like Japanese, Chinese, Korean. And being a Filipino, like it was kind of like, all right, I don't know, and I'm American born Filipino. Like most of the Filipinos they were looking at, they're like, oh, they're from the Philippines, they can speak Tagalog, like they have like that authenticity or whatever that means, like
Mhm.
um so that was kind of rough. Like it was hard for me to like be around that type of environment, because it was very, like, to me, like a lot of people were very cutthroat. Like I've never been the type of person to like step over people to get what I want. Like I've always seen things as like collaborations and working with people
Mhm.
towards a common goal. But yeah, like I kind of that like that kind of soured my experience for a little bit, and I was just doing my own thing, um, doing student films, like whatever projects I could pick up just to get experience, like doing
Yeah.
PA work, stuff like that. Um, and like it was just a grind. Like I was just
Yeah.
grinding. Like I did stand up and improv. I tried that stuff out. Um, yeah, see, this is like a student film out of Cal State Long Beach.
Mhm.
Um, and like when I was younger, like everybody wanted to be like everybody. Like there's like a certain age, like a demographic that wants to try out acting, and like the the pool of talent from like 18 to like 30, I guess, it's full of people. Like there's a ton
Mhm.
of people. Like everyone's like, I'm gonna try to figure it out. This is what I want to do,
Yeah.
Um, but over the years of as things have progressed, like people realize like, oh, you don't make a lot of money off this. It's very difficult, like.
To
And then
grind. Yeah.
people, yeah, it's a grind. And then people are just like, you know what, I could do something else and do better with my time, like. So it was,
Yeah.
it was all learning.
Mhm.
It's like growing pains. It's very like, and I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have anyone to show me the way or anything.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
I didn't really have any friends in my friend group that were doing what I was doing.
Mhm.
So um, it was a lot of trial and error.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because yeah, you would like they should at least have a class in
Yeah.
college that if you're taking that major, to kind of cover that because I think definitely. I mean, I've seen a lot of people along the way too. In my dang, I'm hitting on like what 16 years here.
Hmm.
Yeah, 16 years here. A lot of people I've seen who've come in and gone. Like different projects I've worked on, like they're trying to come out here. They came from the Midwest, they came from the East Coast, they came from everywhere. Whether they were actors or wanting to be a DP or whatever. And yeah, I think a lot of them just don't realize it's a grind, and you got to really start from the bottom, and you'll be at the bottom for a while sometimes before you hit your mark or whatever, or get that chance really,
And
or find that.
there's
Go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
No, and then yeah, before you get that chance, get your shot, or just be at that right, really like sometimes that right place at the right time, you know?
And the reality is like sometimes that shot you don't get that. Like a lot
Yeah.
of people, like I'm very
Mhm.
fortunate. Like I got what I got. But I'm still like it wasn't like life changing in terms of like me being able to support myself off my acting. Like I'm still teaching.
Yeah.
Um, but at least like now people know that I'm around and I
Mhm.
can do this thing, you know, like it's yeah, it's a lot, it's very difficult. Like I think one of the few things that kept me around for so long is that like I grew up out here, so I kind of know
Yeah.
the lay of the land a little better.
Mhm.
Um, I do have my support system out here, and I wouldn't have been able to get this far without them,
Yeah.
um, like friends and family.
Mhm.
Because yeah, like a lot of people come from like the Midwest or the East Coast thinking like, oh, I'm gonna break into the business like the first year or two that I'm out
Mhm.
here, you know, and like and then after like grinding away for a year and not seeing very many results, you know, like people get discouraged and they're
Yeah.
just like, what am I doing, you know, like what else can I do, like, and that's the thing, LA has tons of opportunity in terms of a lot of things, you know, like you can find whatever industry you want to get into.
Mhm.
um, and you know, like for me, I always wanted to be an actor, like even though that I hated performing like when I was younger, like I always knew that I wanted to do something like this. Like I wanted to be parts of, you know, TV shows and movies. Like I wanted to
Mhm.
be in that conversation because there was a part of me that wanted to like tell stories, and that's the big thing for me.
Yeah. Awesome. So also, so before we get on to the good place, so I believe also, so you did some improv and stand up classes.
Hmm.
Um, you did some stuff at the comedy store, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
also were part of um, it was I think it was an improv group, the Outlet in East LA.
yeah,
Is that correct?
yeah. Like I had done a show for this one theater group, and I met like some pretty cool people through it. And one of the guys was the head of this it was called the Outlet, and he was an improv. It was an improv group based out of East Los Angeles, um, and some of my fondest memories are with that group because like they were just all real, like they were all genuinely funny people, and they were really good people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I still keep in touch with a couple of them, but yeah, we used to perform. We used to perform all over like Los Angeles, like downtown, West Side, stuff like that. You know, just like little shows here and there. I think I mentioned in the pre-interview, like when Mountain Bar was still Mountain Bar. We did a couple shows there. Um, we did a couple shows like, you know, just at coffee shops and stuff like that. It wasn't about like getting paid or anything. It was just about like hanging out with these folks and, you know, having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was also like a good network for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot through them, and
Yeah.
I was able to get a lot of good feedback that helped develop me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure. Like, yeah, definitely probably help build up your comedy acting chops ish a little bit.
Yeah, no, it just like uh, like for comedy for me, like I'm good at it. Like I'd like to think I'm good at it. But one of the reasons is because like people just don't take me seriously, no matter what I do or say. Like people just don't take me seriously. So like even my wife, like she did, like I could be dead serious and she's like, okay, whatever, you know, like no one takes me seriously. So there's just some, I don't know, maybe it's something about my face or whatever, but there's something about me where like people are like, it's lighthearted, you know, like you can't take it with a grain of salt. So um, but yeah, like um, doing improv just like kind of and stand up, it kind of like keyed me in into like what type of comedy and like where I should go with that stuff.
Uh-huh.
Because like with stand up, I you know I performed at a couple places, most notably like the Comedy Store.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to get into the main room. Um, I've done uh, I've done sets at like the Ice House and stuff like that in Pasadena.
Nice.
Uh, but like I realized like going through that stuff like for improv and stand up, it's a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's not a lifestyle that I felt that I could possibly manage. Um, like comedy, especially because I was thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, like I'd never be like a touring comic. I'd never be a road comic because I'd never go to the middle of the country, just because I'm Asian, and like the middle of the country doesn't understand that in a lot of parts. Like it might be different now, but like um, I never saw myself doing that. Like props to the people that did do that or that could do that. Like it takes a certain kind of person, and for me, like I was just like, I don't want to put myself through that. Like there's no
Yeah.
reason for me to. So
Yeah. 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 And you couldn't really just sustain yourself just doing comedy in LA
yeah.
or like in NorCal and SoCal.
Yeah, well, just like the coast. Like I was like, I would
The
have to
coast,
only
yeah.
go to the coasts.
Yeah.
Like it'd be like I'd be like down here, probably go up to like Seattle, do stuff in New York, maybe down in Florida and stuff like that. That's and I was just like, that's not going to gain me any traction. Like it'll be
Yeah.
good, but it's not. It wasn't the way I saw things going. So.
Yeah. So then, yeah, after that, you obviously you were still working and you're still auditioning, and you got a casting call in 2018.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, before that too. Grew out your mustache. What made you decide to grow your mustache between that time? Because obviously, a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, there's Mitch without a mustache in a lot of these things, these projects."
It honestly started off as a joke. My wife had gone back home for the holidays. Like she's from New Mexico, and she had gone to New Mexico for a couple weeks. And I was just, like I thought to myself, I was like, I'm not gonna shave, and then I'm gonna just see what it looks like when she comes back, right? And I remember, like, I picked up my wife from the airport. She didn't notice right away, and then on the right back, she took a look at me and just started laughing. Like she just was laughing in my face. She's like, "What is that? What is going on here?" And after I let it grow out a bit, she's like, "You know what? It actually, it suits you. Like you can make it work." So I was like, "All right, let me try it out." So I took some headshots with it just to get a different look out, just to try something different. Because like that's the thing. Like I was like, for acting, I was always trying to figure out what worked for me. I was always trying, like you saw all the headshots I had. Like I've gone through like a multitude of looks over the years, just trying to figure out like what can help me stand out.
Yeah.
And I guess the mustache worked.
Yeah.
But
And then
yeah,
when did you do your name change too?
I did my name change. I think that was in 2011.
Okay.
Like I had been going under Mitchell Hernandez for a few years, but I was just getting tired of like getting miscast and like getting sent out for stuff that I know I didn't fit at all. So it was when I had to join the union. Like I was able to get my eligibility for the union. And when you join, they ask you, like, do you have a stage name? So at that point, I was like, I'm going to try something different. So I went through a bunch of family names trying to figure out, because like I still wanted it to be me. But like my family names, like a lot of them were still super like colonial, I guess.
Yeah.
Like my dad's other family name was Villarasa. So I was like, that can't work, Like, I was like, that's gonna confuse people for sure. And then my mom was like, "Oh, why don't you try Narito? That's a family name." And I was like, "Narito?" And then I was just like, "Doesn't that mean like is here? Like doesn't that mean like so I could be Mitch is here? Like." And I was like, "I'll take it." Like I'll take it.
Yeah.
So, I was a little worried at first about like me changing it, because like people would be like, "Is that Japanese or is that like what is that?" Like, but after I changed it, it just made me more appropriate for certain roles. Like I was getting things that were more closer to what I could do and how I looked.
Mhm.
And so yeah, like it was a good decision for me. Like
Yeah,
I wish I
awesome.
could keep my regular name, but um, it like I did it for years, and it kind of held me back a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so let's jump forward to 2018. Yeah, you got a particular casting call.
Yeah, like I'd gotten an audition for The Good Place. The Good Place had already been out for a few seasons. I was a fan, like I was watching it,
Mhm.
and
You already
like
knew automatically it was already a good place call. It wasn't like secret or
yeah,
anything or okay.
it was like it was for The Good Place. Like when they sent me the sides though, they sent me dummy sides. Like the names had been changed. Like there wasn't like a lot of like, and they only sent me like the initial audition was only like it was one line. Uh, and it was something like you know you're my boy. It was something like that. I'd gone into the audition. It was at Allison Jones Casting. It's on Silver Lake. It's a really cool office. Like I went in, like, and like it was just another audition for me. Like I'd been auditioning for years already, and it's kind of like I audition, I do my work, and then I just let it go because, like, in terms of what happens after, um, you can agonize over it and you could try to figure out, like, oh, why didn't I get this job?
Mhm.
But honestly, that has nothing to do with your performance. Like, it could be like, I like, I've gotten turned down from jobs because I'm too tall. I've gotten turned down for jobs because I'm too short, or like I
Too
look too.
tall.
Yeah, like it just depends,
Okay,
like
okay. So just so people know, how tall are you?
I'm 5'9".
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
too tall. Okay,
No, but because
that's
like,
hilarious.
dude, freaking Tom Cruise is 5'4". So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
like you can't, like if the star is like really short, you can't be like so much
yeah,
taller because then it makes him look less of like the lead, like
yeah.
or he the lead, whatever. Um, but yeah, like there's a lot of stuff. Like sometimes like you go in and it's like, oh, we can't use him because his hair's too short, too long.
Mhm.
It just doesn't fit. Like um and for The Good Place, so after that audition, I had left and I actually had another audition, and then I was just kind of like I left it out there, and then I was just doing my thing. um I got a call from my agent a couple days later, and he's like, hey, they want to see you again. They want you to try out a couple more pages, right? So I was like, okay, sure, no problem.
So
And
sorry, cut back real quick. So
yeah, yeah.
so for people who don't know, um, or I don't know how this one went. So the first one where it's just one line. Did you do any work?
Like I
You know,
mean,
as
like
so for people to know, when we mean work is like background work, as far as like trying to figure out who the character is and all that stuff.
yeah, like like there wasn't a lot to go off of.
Yeah.
What they had given me was the breakdown, which is the description of the character.
Mhm.
And the description of the character was, they didn't even have a name. They were just like, this guy, he's 30s to 40s, Filipino, uh, handsome-ish, um, oldest member of a dance crew, right? And so I was like, all right. So and like in my head, I was like, okay, if this guy's in his 40s, this is, like I broke it down like as much as I could. I was like, who do I know that's in that age? Who do I know that's like that? Like, so like luckily like my brother's older, and like like I had a lot of people that I could pull from. I was like, all right, well, this guy would probably sound like this, like he'd probably do this. So I just went in with that, and honestly, it was like one of those auditions where I went in, I gave my name, like my height, and then they were like, all right, go ahead. I said my line, and they were like, cool, thank you. There was no feedback after that. It's just like, cool, thanks. Like I was like, all
Do they
right.
usually give feedback?
Sometimes
Yeah.
like when you go in, they'll be like, hey, can you try it this way?
Mhm.
Or sometimes they'll be like, hey, like try it, like add this to the character or whatever. But sometimes they don't do that, like that's not always a thing. So I had gone in, and they were like, it was just like I said my line. They're like, cool, thank you, and that was it. And then I got the call a couple of days later from my agent, and he was like, they want you to try out more stuff. And so for that one, when I got the script was like, the first thing I noticed was I was like, this is a lot more dialogue than I had originally read for.
Mhm.
So like from the one line, and it was literally like the first time they brought me in, it was like a paragraph, and then there's like one line for me. And then they sent in a couple like they sent in the next one, and it was like 6 pages, and it was me interacting with a bunch of different characters. So I was like, what is this? I don't understand it, but I'm gonna try my best, And I got a lot of my direction from the writing of what I saw in there. That's how I broke it down. Like one of the descriptions was like, oh yeah, he answers the door, he's holding a bong, So I was like, all right, he's high. I know what that's like,
Can't pull too. That's not too hard to pull from.
Okay, yeah, I'll just bring myself to this role, I went into the audition again. It was the same person running the audition, and I remember like I did the scene once, and the guy was like, "Hey, you're really stiff. Just relax. Just let it all out. Just go for it." And like he said one of like the kindest things like a casting director said to me. He was like, "We called you back for a reason." He was like that. He's like, "We called you back for a specific reason. Just relax. Just have fun." And then I did the scene again, and that time the casting director actually was laughing so hard. He's like, "I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to do it again. We have to do it one more time because I think that we're not gonna be able to hear you because of me." Like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So I did it one last time, and then I think the casting director, went on my way.
Did they give you notes on that?
No,
Or-
they were like,
Yeah.
no, not that time. Like the only note I got was just like, just relax.
Yeah.
Like that was all they told me.
Do you remember being nervous? Obviously, you were probably pretty nervous at the time, right?
Oh yeah, I was super nervous. Like I still get nervous going into auditions because like it's always that like, let me impress you, like please validate me, kind of.
Yeah.
Am I doing this right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's always that type of deal. So so yeah, but that's one of the things. Like I've learned over the years just to kind of like do my thing, and then I could beat myself up for it afterwards, But like I said, most of the time it's not what you actually did. Like if you're pleased with what you did, if you feel you gave it your all, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So so I left that audition, and then a couple days later, my agent called me back, and he was asking me all these, like weird questions. Like he was like, he's like, "You're full Filipino, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then he was asking like, "Where's your mom from? Where's your dad from? Like, where did you grow up? Stuff like that." And I was like, "All right, this, and this." And he's like, "Okay, cool. I'll call you back." Right. And then he called me back a couple hours later, and he's like, "All right, you booked the role." And I was in a parking lot with my mom, and I was kind of like, I booked the role, like I'd been waiting for so long to hear something like that. And it was kind of like an out of body experience for me at that moment. Like I remember I was just like, all right, cool. And I was kind of in a state of shock, and my agent was just like, I think he was expecting more of like a reaction from me. But I was just like, okay, cool, thanks. Like like it was very like monotone. I was like, "Do you understand that you're going to be on a network TV show?" And he's like, and then he started explaining like some other stuff. He's like, "You're also going to be a recurring star or guest star, so that means you'll be in more than one episode."
And you didn't know that initially.
Oh,
right.
I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And even after I booked it, they still kept a lot from me in terms of like like what was actually going on. Like, so in season 3, I'm in 2 episodes. In the first episode, um, they didn't even tell me that I was Jason Mendoza's dad yet. So I had no idea. And like, I guess all the, like, after speaking with like the other actors, they're like, yeah, we knew, but we just didn't say anything, you know, like,
Yeah.
so they all kind of like kept it close to the vest. And
Yeah.
like, I remember my mom was with me and I was like, Mom, like I booked a TV show, and like her first words are like, okay, cool. You get paid for it now, right? You know, like,
Mama's always gotta put you down.
yeah. Well, that's one other thing, you know, like my family and my friends, they've always kept me grounded, like,
Yeah.
because I could have easily been like, yeah, I'm the ish, you know, like,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I just remember after they told me I was booked, like I was kind of like, I was still really nervous because I was like, in my head, I'm like, you know, like, did they make a mistake? Can they take this away from me? Can they change their minds? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of that because like sometimes, you know, people get roles and they shoot the thing and they get edited out, you know, like they get dropped, you know, like, and that happens. And like I was just like, so I was trying to keep like an even keel because I was like, you know, this stuff could easily happen. So, you know, like stay cool. And I remember like feeling an immense pressure because at that point I was like, okay, I have this role. Now I have to deliver. Like I have to make sure that, you know, like when I actually get in front of camera and when I do my thing, like I gotta make sure that I reaffirm whoever believed in me, like that they made the right choice. You know, like there was a lot of that going on in my head at the time.
So yeah, definitely I could see that. So after that, I believe they bring you to a table read, correct?
Yeah. So
talk about that experience.
So I had shot like the first episode that I was going to be in, and that one was kind of that was interesting because like I remember the day of the shoot. Like I got there and I told one of the PAs, it's like, hey, I have a call time for this, and the PA thought I was an extra. I didn't even, you know, like, and I was just like, all right, man, but this is what I'm here for. He's like, cool. Just wait here, you know? And then I remember, so like I was hanging out in that area and I was like, hey guy, like I really need to be on set. Like they have to take me. He's like, you gotta wait. And then I hear him over the radio. It's like, hey, has anyone seen this guy? And I'm like, that's me, you know, like I had to tell the guy that's me. And the dude turned super white. He turned like pale and he's like, oh yeah, he's coming to set right now. So, and like that day was a very chill day. Like I got to meet like some directors, some of the other cast, you know, and I was just like, and everybody was really chill. Like, and I'd been used to being on sets as an extra. And like, this was the first time where like I felt important, I guess. Because people were actually like trying to, you know, be nice to me, you know, and I'm just like, oh, these people know my name. They know who I am. And I was like, that's different, you know?
Yeah.
So that day ended and then they called like, after 2 weeks, they sent me another script and they're like, here, this is your next episode. Check it out. Like, get it ready. And then they were like, would you want to come in and be part of the table read for this episode? And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, of course, you know, like, why would I turn that down? You know, like these people want to have me in. And that was like, to this day, that's like one of the most surreal experiences of my life because like I remember I got to Universal Studios. I was at the gate and they wouldn't let me in at first. I had to call my agent and I'm like, hey, I'm at the gate. They won't let me in for the table read. Like there's something that's not right. So they had to make calls and finally they were able to get me in. I parked my car. And after I parked my car, there was a dude waiting there for me. He was like, hey, what's up, Mitch? Like, I'm here to take you up. Right. And so like, he takes me to this building. We go up some stairs, and like I walk into the room, and the room is packed. It's full of everybody. It's like it's like the creator of the show, all the writers, like all the cast was there, and that blew my mind because like I was like, dude, like these are like high level like actors. Like I would think that like um they would have just like proxies or someone come in and read for them, like they would, like they didn't need to do that. So like I came in, I saw everybody, like, and everybody was trying to introduce themselves to me, but I was in such a state of like, what is happening? I was like, I can't remember anything right now. Sorry guys, this is a lot to take in, like this is nuts, like but yeah, like I got to meet all the cast, like Ted Danson, Kristen Bell, Manny, Darcy, uh, Will, Jackson Harper. Like I got to meet everybody, and then like Mike Schur, like the creator of the show, um, and it was like I just remember like we were reading through, and then like I said my lines, and people were like cracking up. They're like, "That's exactly what we wanted," like. And I was just like, "Oh my god, this is a trip," like is this really happening? And like I was still like, "Oh man, if I screw this up, they could still cut my part," like I was still worried about that stuff, like if I screw this up or if I don't do exactly what they need, like they'll just be like, this wasn't a great idea," like. But yeah, everybody was really kind, and that's one of the things like a lot of people say about The Good Place, like being on set and being around everybody, it's like one of the most positive experiences. And I really felt that. Like I felt welcomed. I felt like I was a part of something. And yeah, it was just a really great experience.
Yeah. Was there any, so for people who don't know, Jason Mendoza was probably his character, or the character of Jason Mendoza was probably like what, in his mid 20s, late 20s, right? Is that
Manny Jacinto is 3 years younger than me.
okay? Well, so the character is supposed to be like mid 20s, late 20s, right? And then your character is supposed to be like in your mid 30s, late 40s. Like, what do you know what their reasoning for that was, or because you guys look like brothers?
Well, like
it's like a running joke.
Well, one of the things was just like, like Donkey Doug had this kid when he was young. That like, so like this guy was the type of person that wasn't ready to be a dad. He's still partying and doing all this craziness. So like it was when I went in, I was pretty much wearing the same thing that Manny was wearing, and they're like, "Did you do that on purpose?" Like, yeah. And they're like, it's like, that's perfect. You guys even like, you guys look alike. You guys sound alike, because I based a lot of it off of Manny's character. Because I was like, all right, like if I was his dad, he'd probably pick this up, like this is what he would take from him.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
That's awesome. And then, so it sounded like what you said, like, because you were brought on for quite a few episodes. When they give you the sides, was it only your part? They wouldn't give you the whole script for the episode?
They at first they didn't give me the whole script, and all the names had been changed. So like I was trying to figure out, because I was familiar with the show, and reading through the script, I was like, who are these people? I don't know who I'm supposed to be acting with. Like who's in this scene with me? And then it wasn't until like right before the table read where it showed the real names of who I was going to be in the scene with. And I was like, oh dude, I get to act with Ted Danson, and my wife is like a big Ted Danson fan, like she's like, I was like, and I told her, I was like, hey, I get to act in the scene with Ted Danson, but I also was like, with Eugene, Jamila, and Manny, who are great actors themselves, but I was just like, dude, I get to act with, like, he's TV royalty. He's been doing it for so long, he's had an amazing career, and like for me to like share the same screen with him and be on the same set and like just like mess around, and like he's a charming guy, like he's a super
Yeah.
charming guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to be able to like be in the same space and be recognized for my talent, um, that that meant a lot.
Hmm. That's awesome. Yes. Yeah, so were you able to, in your time with them, were you able to kind of learn or pick up certain, skills from them or anything, or kind of how they worked on set, as far as I guess just rehearsing or just takes and
I think
anything?
one of the big things that I took away from being on set was, um, people really loved uh, my character. Like they enjoyed it a lot.
Mm,
And being on set with like the regulars, like it kind of showed me that there is still like like tiers. Like there's different, like it's different, like the way that the main actors versus like the guest stars and whatever, like the vibe is completely different.
mm,
And like what I learned is like I want to be at that level, like I want to push myself, um to become greater, like I want to be able to like do this, be on set more often. I want to be able to do that. And like, um just the professionality of everybody, professionalism of everyone. Like Eugene Cordero has been acting for a long time, and he's super talented. The guy, like, he's uh, he's an inspiration for me. Like just seeing how he acted on set, how relaxed he was, how
hmm.
comfortable he could be. Like that all was like I was like I need to learn from this. Like I need to, like I was worried about like not memorizing things and like screwing up lines. But like amazingly enough, like Ted was the one that'd be like, "What's this line again?" Because he has a lot of stuff. I guess he has to
Yeah.
remember. He'd
He
be
has a
like,
lot of lines.
"Yeah," but he'd be like, "What's this? How does this go?" Like he would hear it once, and then he'd be like, "All right, got it," and then he'd freaking just
Oh
deliver
wow.
the crap out of it. And I'm just like, dude, that's amazing. Like because like it made me. It's like he was more in the moment and more present, than I felt I was. Like looking back at things, like um, I was super nervous about being on set, so I wish I had been like a little more relaxed and I like played with things a little more. Like
Hmm.
um, I feel that would have opened things up a little. But like just seeing how everybody was, like in the zone. Um, it was just like it was an amazing experience.
Hmm. Awesome. And then so then after that, I mean, unfortunately, like so it ended, and after that, you said kind of things started opening up, and because I remember you saying too, like people would be like, "Oh, who are you?" And then all of a sudden, people kind of started paying attention to you after,
Yeah, and like
right?
so that
After
kind
Good
of ties
Place.
into like what I was saying about like how when I was first starting out, I was trying to find my footing like in the Asian American acting community, and it was kind of
Mm,
difficult. Um, after the show came out, people I hadn't talked to in years were kind of like, "Oh, you're relevant now," like, and I was like,
mhm,
"Yeah." Like, and for me, I was like, I've always been the same guy. Like, this is how I would like. This is what I wanted to do. This is what I've always
mhm,
pursued. Um, like for me, I was just like, I don't need other people's validation as much as I thought.
mhm,
Like, because I am like I've put in too much work into myself to have anyone make me feel doubtful about myself.
for sure.
Um, like people may not like me as a person, or they may not like what I do as an actor, but um, like for me, it's like you can't deny that I've done something um, that I've wanted to do. Like I've accomplished something for myself, and that's something that no one can take away from me.
Mhm,
And like it's like now, like it's kind of interesting too, because like a lot of a lot of the stuff that I was doing before, like, was starting to get noticed, you know.
Mhm.
Um, but like I feel that social media helped a lot, like because I found a lot of like the Filipino acting community on Twitter, um, and they kind of helped me, you know, have this voice. Like I finally felt seen,
Mhm.
and I got to connect with all of these other Filipino uh, actors and artists that were doing the same thing that I was doing, and it felt more natural.
Mhm.
Like it wasn't because like Filipinos have always been trying to like carve out their own little like space in this industry, and like
Yeah.
the ones that do, like, props to them, you know, like because it's really difficult, you know, like it's really difficult for us because like we're not the most recognizable Asians, you know, like
Mhm.
uh, people don't think of us right off the bat, and just being able to connect to other people and see like these are other people that are going through the same things that I'm going through, and they're experiencing the same things I'm experiencing.
Mhm.
Um, it made me feel less like I was just like spinning my wheels, you know.
Mhm. Awesome. Yeah, definitely. And then I believe too, like afterwards, you started doing a lot of stuff with Philip. I see the shirt there, Filipino AF, right? Yes.
Filipino AF. It's a Filipino improv team based out of UCB. Rest in peace, UCB. I had heard about Filipino AF from Eugene Cordero because I started following him on social media. I'd gone to a couple shows and I was like, oh, this is awesome. You know, it's all Filipinos. Like they're all just doing their own thing. And I met like some of the people that were in charge of it, and they were kind enough to ask me on the show a couple times. I got to know them, and I'm always rooting for those guys because there's a lot of talent that's out there and it isn't recognized as much as it should. So
Yeah, definitely. Um, and then yeah, so yeah, obviously, so you started doing other things, and at that time, when did you get married to?
2018 was a great
2018.
year.
Okay, so yeah,
Yeah,
2018 was a great year. Yeah, here's a picture of you with your lovely wife. So
yeah.
that must have been awesome. Like that was. So was that before Good Place or after Good Place or during or?
I had proposed to her before The Good Place hit.
Okay.
Like truthfully, like The Good Place helped pay for the weddings.
Nice though. That's awesome though, dude.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Because weddings ain't cheap, man.
no, they're not. And ours was a very modest wedding. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
like super extravagant.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it definitely helped.
Nice.
Like I was gonna get married to her no matter what, but
For sure.
like because of The Good Place, I was able to offer, like just make it a little more memorable.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you're still teaching ESL. I forgot to show this picture here, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm still doing it. I'm doing it online, obviously.
Yeah.
But like I've been doing ESL since 2006. Like
Yeah.
uh, it's always helped. It's always helped me because like uh, acting is it's a very self-absorbed profession. You know, like
Mhm.
it's all about me, me, me. Like there's a lot of actors out there who can't turn it off, and they can't get out of themselves. And
Yeah.
like my students, they don't know who I am. They like
Yeah.
they're just like, he's the guy that's teaching me English, like, and that's very humbling.
Yeah.
Um, and like it helps that like I feel I've contributed to, because LA has always been my home. It's where my
Mhm.
heart is, and for me to know that I've contributed to making lives better in LA, just makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Because I've had students throughout the years, like like I see like some of them contact me here and there, or I run into them at random places, and they're just like, like you started me off on like my ESL journey, and because of you, like I was able to get like my high school diploma. I was able to get a better
Yeah.
job, or stuff like that. And it's kind of like I like when I teach people, like I don't expect any of that to happen. I'm just trying to get them to be comfortable with the language, and learn a little something that can help them out.
You're saying not only that, not only the language, but you're also saying, I think you're mentioning the culture too, because there's certain etiquette that they're not familiar with that you have to kind of get them acquainted with.
Yeah. Like that's one of the cool things I think that my students really appreciate, because like when I tell them like I grew up out here, like I was born here.
Mhm.
Uh, like the way that I teach them about certain things, it's how things like that operate in California, like, or in other parts of the country also. But like just the way from like how we speak, like certain slang words, like because a lot of times my students will be like, "Teacher, what's a dude?" Like you know, dude. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's a like anything can be a dude, pretty much." Like
Basically,
like
huh? You say, dude, what's dude? Yeah, it's true, huh?
no, and it's funny too because like I when I get younger students, a lot of my younger students learn English from American music,
Mhm.
Um, so, so it's like they'll ask me stuff that's like it's not appropriate for class, and I just have to laugh,
Yeah.
like be like, "Hey, teacher, what's this?" I'd be like, "Do not ever say that," like don't say that around other people, like this is what it is, but yeah, it's and like just interacting with people like that, like it's fun. Like I feel that acting is all about like using your life experiences to help you like tap into whatever emotion or whatever
Mhm.
situation you're trying to portray. And like I've been fortunate enough to to live a life that has been full of life, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's awesome, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Neil Six says, and I'm sure these are all from his wife because he. I don't know if you remember, but his wife, or Neil said his wife was a big fan of yours.
Ah,
What were the most common roles you were offered?
so it was weird because like I always would get offered like the nerd geek type of roles. Like I've always been good with like techie stuff.
But that was
So
like pre mustache, because I think mustache post mustache is a different look, and then pre mustache you had a,
I would agree with that. But yeah, like
yeah.
okay, so pre mustache, I would get a lot of like I would get a lot of like geeky techie type of people. I get a lot of those. And then and the weird thing is like I would get those, but then I would get a lot of like gangster, druggy, like type of like like those types of roles. Like I didn't understand it. Um, and then like after mustache, like the roles I've been getting, like it's still a lot of like it's just a lot of like miscellaneous things, like just
Mhm.
like things that can fit in here and there. Like with the mustache, I get a lot of like stoner roles because I guess I give off stoner vibes.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, but what else? Like a lot of uh, I'm getting more dad roles now, which is interesting.
What?
Yeah,
Interesting.
like I don't know what it is about the mustache, but people just assume that like because I have a mustache, like I can be trusted with kids. I don't like
uh,
but yeah, that's a weird thing. What else? I get a lot of like just like the your everyday guys, like your workers, your I still get nurses a lot just because.
Filipino,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Oh, what's up, Fade 2? How you doing, man? Representing East Coast. Master Mix Crew says, what advice would you tell to aspiring actors?
Um, I think the big thing is like what I mentioned before. Go to where you're celebrated, not to where you're just tolerated. Um, like acting is a very hard industry. It's very like it'll beat you up. Um, uh, but that's why you have to surround yourself with people and family that really like is supportive. Like I don't think I'd be able to get this far if it wasn't for my friends and my wife and my family. Like uh, it's just like also like don't be afraid to ask for things. You know, because you know, like you don't know what can happen. You got to shoot your shot. Like, obviously, do that in like a respectful way. Like, don't just bombard people with things. You know, like do it in the correct manner. Because you'll never know what you can accomplish if you don't try.
Mhm.
Uh, and you know, like find something outside of acting um, that will help you feel fulfillment. Like I have my teaching. I have my other things that I do on the side. Um, but don't let acting be the main thing that defines you because there's a lot of ups and downs, and most of the time it's a lot of downs. And if you associate your identity with just being an actor, that can have really negative effects on your mental health.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Great words of advice. That probably might be. This is a good other question to ask, but it might probably be similar. But what would you have told your younger self? What advice would you have given to your younger self?
I think I would have told my younger self to not worry so much about what other people were thinking. Um, like I spent a lot of my younger days trying to impress people that didn't even care either
Uh-huh.
way about me. Just don't waste your time and energy on that. Like I would tell my younger self that you know you're like you are good enough. You are worth it. You have everything you need within you. It's just you know like don't quit. And I probably would have told my younger self to grow my hair out and grow the mustache sooner.
Yeah. So I'm sure that the hair and the mustache are here to stay.
Yeah, for now. Like
Yeah.
I mean, if I get something that asks me to like, I always have to tell casting directors like I'm willing to change my appearance,
Yeah.
just depending on the role.
Yeah.
Um, you know, like you know, it'd have to be significant for me to do it because like this is how people recognize me. This is how they know me.
Hmm.
So like if I do something drastic to my look, it has to be like something of note.
For sure, definitely. Yeah, because like everyone said, like you without your mustache and your hair short, it's a crazy difference.
Yeah,
It's so crazy.
yeah.
um,
I always thought I looked like a Muppet without the mustache, but
so DJ Neo6 says, "How do you feel Asian/Asian Ams are going to be represented in the future? Did things like Crazy Rich Asians help with representation?"
I feel that Asians are getting more and more represented. It's still not where it should be.
Hmm.
Um, like we had that whole issue with like the Farewell and Minari getting categorized as foreign films, which is kind of BS.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, uh, you know, we are getting more representation. It's still not as much representation. And you got to remember, it's because like whoever is running our industry, they control the narrative. But things are changing. And in terms of Crazy Rich Asians, it did help with representation. Um, I know a lot of people out there that kind of they don't resent Crazy Rich Asians, but they're kind of like, okay, there are more actors out there besides the people that are Crazy Rich Asians, because like you see the same actors from Crazy Rich Asians getting all the work, you know, like it's like, and like it's not that they're not deserving of it, it's just that they're the ones that are known.
Hmm.
Um, but there are definitely, like I said, there's a lot of talent out there that's worth looking at.
Yeah, definitely. I know we talked about this on the our live stream podcast, shooting the shit.
Mhm.
Did you end up watching that other show that we're talking about, House of Ho?
I know. Yeah, like
Okay.
I saw it pop up, but I was like, I really can't.
Pass. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to pass because, like, dude, like I just watched this one series that's on Netflix right now, and it's actually really good. It's called Alice in Borderland, and like, you know, like I'd rather watch something like that that contributes.
Yeah.
You know, like it's good storytelling. It's not, you know, like, did you watch House of Hope? Is it worth one?
No.
Yes.
We said it's something just to have on in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like because like I said, like it's not something I feel represents me. or something that I feel I can connect with. Um, like I think like props to them for getting their own show, but it's not it's it's not what it's not my thing.
Yeah. Fade 2 asks, what was the one role you auditioned for that you wish you landed?
Um,
That's a good question, actually.
there's a couple roles out there.
Or like any prominent ones where you're like,
There was hold on, give me a sec.
no.
There's a couple out there. There's some stuff that I can't talk about yet because it hasn't been officially announced yet. But like there's some stuff that I auditioned for that I'm really hoping for. There's two things that I really want. And I just don't know where they're at just because of COVID. I don't know if they're continuing or moving forward with it. But there's two things that that I really want. One would be a TV show with two people that I've wanted to work with for the longest time. If I get the opportunity to work with them, that would be that would be like a feather in my cap. That'd be like one of the accomplishments. And then there's a couple of roles that I wanted to get for series regular. Like that's where I want to go next. Like I still have a lot of work to do to get to series regular. But I just want to be able to like be on that level at some point in my career.
Yeah. Awesome. So we got two good ones from Mr. Early Be Good. What's up, Earl? We had him on, I think, 3 weeks ago. He says, Mitch, how do you keep your hair so luscious? Actually, a very good question, because a lot of people who've grown their hair out have not, I've heard it's hard for them to kind of maintain their hair or keep it smelling good or keep it from being tangled. So how do you do it? Tell us your process. Go ahead. Your products too. And maybe they'll sponsor you too.
Horse shampoo. Mane and tail. No, like honestly, I use a shampoo and a conditioner. That's it. Like I just I don't put like weird stuff in my hair if I don't have to.
Yeah. You don't do you share products with your wife or you use your own?
She'll give me stuff to try to use. She'll be like, try this out, but the stuff that she uses is like high end, I like my shampoo is Head and Shoulders, right? And then I use a Garnier Fructis conditioner.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I don't do anything like super crazy.
Anyone out there representing Garnier Fructis, if you guys want Mitch Narito for your commercial, he can wag the hair for you.
And then like whenever I think of like Head and Shoulders, I'm like, dude, I could be Troy Polamalu.
Yeah, right? Oh man. Question too, because I always joke about this with my wife, but how much do you use? Like how much do you pour into your hand when you actually wash your hair?
Just enough to like fully get my hair. Like I don't use like an obscene amount, but I just get enough to like make sure everything is
like the big marble size, or like, because I'm just curious because I feel like
it's like I don't know, like not a palm full, like a little less than that, but like yeah. Yeah, it's like it's more than like a pea-sized amount or whatever,
yeah. Hey, we're asking the very important questions here, guys, because I know some of us don't know how to wash our hair properly. All right, and then there's another great question. Early Be Good also asks, best burrito in LA.
Oh man, are we talking about like regular burrito or like breakfast burrito?
Ooh, both. Let's do both.
All right, so I think the best breakfast burritos are at Lucky Boy.
Where's that?
It's a place. They're out here in Pasadena. They have really good burritos. In terms of regular burritos, man, I go to a ton of places. There's Like, are we talking about taste, or are we talking about like size?
Taste, of course.
Taste? Because I've had some really good California burritos from some. I don't even know if it's open anymore. Like, one of the best California burritos I had was at a place in Costa Mesa. It was called the Albatross. It was like a 24-hour burrito spot, but it got closed down because I guess it kept getting shut up because people would go there after hours and just like be fools.
Yeah.
See, early knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that had like one of the best California burritos. Like, I go to a lot of the taco trucks, like in Eagle Rock. There's Leo's. Those have really good
Yeah.
tacos and
Oh, when I
burritos.
used to live in Eagle Rock. Oh yeah, baby.
That's the spot. And if anyone is from Eagle Rock, I would suggest going in and checking in on Leo's, because the owner of Leo's is not in the best health. So, you know, give him
Oh
some love.
no. Oh, makes me sad.
Yeah.
Dude, Leo's is amazing. Okay.
And then there's a spot out here, like it's a franchise, but there's Teddy's Tacos in Pasadena. They have really good burritos too. Like I just discovered them. They come with like it's like a strawberry habanero sauce, a salsa you can get.
Uh-huh.
So like it's pretty good. It's pretty tasty.
Oh man, look! I think we're starting a burrito battle. So, if for y'all who don't know, DJ No 6 actually used to live here in LA, probably for 7 years. He lived on the west side, like Marina Del Rey-ish, and yeah. So now he lives up in the Bay, and so now he's like, oh, we got to do a Bay Area versus LA burrito battle.
Oh, I'm sorry, but like if you're thinking about California, the further south you go in California, the burritos are going to be better just because it's closer to Mexico. So it's like San Diego obviously would have the best, you know, like because it's right next to there, and then LA, and then, you know, like the further up you go, it gets a little watered down. So
Fighting words. There's some fighting words. Also, Marcus Williams says size matters. This is the guy who, coming from the guy who has a third leg. Private Ryan says Garnier Fructis smells good. It does smell good. And then DJ No 6 says, speaking of hair, so we're jumping back around. How often do you shape your mustache, and do you use product in your mustache?
I don't use any product in my mustache. Pretty much like the way that I try to keep it trimmed is like, if I smile, like I try to keep it out of my, you know, like I cut it off at the lips. Like,
oh, okay. So
like
you like
too much going on over my teeth, you know, like that just means that's like stuff that can get caught in my mustache after I eat, and I don't want to, you know, like I don't want to eat things again after I eat. You know?
Yeah.
So like I just do that, and it's just so like pretty much like once it gets like gnarly, like my wife will pretty much tell me, and then that's what I have to trim.
Got it. Okay, so where is it? Another fighting word. DJ Neo 6 says burritos were rumored to be born in the Bay, though.
That's fine. They were perfected down south.
Oh! Hey, you know what, Earl? I might have to adopt this. Hopefully you won't get mad at me, but I think I might have to ask every guest on the show what their favorite burritos are. Because actually it's a pretty good question to ask everyone. Because opinions are so different. And obviously I'm not interviewing all LA people, but you know, we're interviewing people from all over. So
no, but
definitely.
like honestly, like outside of California, maybe like Texas and New Mexico have good burritos, but after like, dude, Southwest is like the only place you can find like decent burritos, man. Like,
for sure.
Because like I've tried having Mexican food in like Seattle and New York. No bueno.
Awesome. Any other last questions for anyone? We'll probably get that delay 20 seconds. But if everyone could follow Mitch Narito on his Instagram as well as his Twitter, and anything else, I think we asked you this already, but are you planning on streaming anytime soon?
Yeah, I started streaming video games.
Okay.
Like I'm really close to getting affiliate. Like I have enough followers.
Oh, yeah.
But like I just need to get 3 average viewers. I've been trying to get 3 average viewers for the longest time, but I think it's because I don't announce when I'm actually streaming. I just start doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anyone wants to follow me on Twitch, it's Mitch Narito. It's one word. Like I stream with Early Be Good often, like when he does his thing, and like the Pangeekery crew. And then yeah, like I just do random stuff on there too. So
Yeah.
like I'm actually hosting you on my channel right now. So
Oh, ooh, cool. And yeah, of course, we'll probably have you on our channel again one of these days for shooting the shit, right? And yeah, and you should maybe I don't know, do some co-host or whatever if you want to do our Wednesday gaming with us if you want. So
yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh man, you guys are gonna play on Wednesday. I think I'd be down to play because I play all those games.
yeah, awesome. Fade 2 is asking, I don't know if he's asking us or you, but what are you playing on your stream?
Right now I'm playing Hades. It's like a rogue dungeon crawler. I've been playing that. Like, it's a really good game. I play that. I also do. I have Fall Guys. I just don't play it as much because it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
And then what else? I play a lot of Jackbox and Overwatch still. So I still play Overwatch.
Awesome. Okay, and then let's see where. Oh, and then yeah, Earl makes a good point. You have to announce this so people can throw you raids. That's how you build followers and build an average viewer audience. You know, because yes, people do get their notifications on their phone, but not everyone has it installed on their phone, or some people disable your notification. Because for me, I need to do that because I follow so many people that I feel like my phone is like ringing off the hook, and I'm like, okay, maybe I need to change it to when, you know, if I pop on, I'll just like look at, oh, who are the people I'm following that are on. So
yeah, I'm
sure.
trying to get to Early Be Goods level because this guy.
Yeah. I know, too cool. And yeah, thanks to Early Be Good bringing us a raid one time. Awesome. Thank you so much, Mitch.
Thanks so much for having me on, man. I just want to shout out DJ Mighty Rel. Thanks for laying down the beats earlier. It's good to see you again, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. I just want to say I love you to my wife and my family because they probably will see this at some point. And just thanks for all the love from everybody.
Yeah, no, thank you. Everyone give it up for Mitch. Type a 1 in the chat. Say what's up to him. Dino6 says, damn, carne asada fries wrap sounds so good.
That's a California burrito, man.
I know. Okay, here you go. Here's Mitch. All right, thank you guys. And we are out right about now.